Hey y'all, what's up? Okay, so I usually do the tang with all the pretty stuff and the view and everything, and um, I didn't feel like doing any of that. So I am just here to let people know about an anxiety meter and what that looks like. I have developed, strengthened, smartened my gifts as a meditation coach, as uh, someone who's worked with dealing conflict and how to, hey, on how to address anxiety. So before we go ahead and even talk about what anxiety, like how to address it and how to soothe it, like I want y'all to know, I'm amazing. Thank you for asking. I want y'all to know, what does it mean to have anxiety? What does it, like when you say I am an anxious person, what are you really saying when you say that? I want y'all to hold space for not just over addressing yourself with issues or with certain labels that you don't necessarily have to label yourself with. Or I feel like when you label yourself something like that, it can not give you a possible solution. So my hope for you is to pay attention to what's happening when you say I have, sounds good, love, I have anxiety. So I want you to take a moment, write it out, or even voice record yourself. Sometimes I don't feel like writing it out, so voice recording yourself is really good as well. And asking yourself, what does that mean? And then when I feel anxious, what does it feel like? Now, the reason why I'm asking you to break down the process of how you connect with anxiety or anxiousness is because that's the way you're gonna have a handle on turning the volume up and turning the volume down. Because anxiety and overwhelm, there's a meter to it, and you can see, like any other thing in your life, like any other thing in your life. For example, when you're about to have an argument with your significant other or an intimate partner, and it's a really big argument, and you can tell a week ago or some days ago or some little thing ago, the argument unfolding in a small way. You could have seen like the red flags showing up way before the actual argument started. Right? In hindsight, you're like, shit, I should have seen the signs, or I knew it, we were kind of off, or we were kind of rocky, and then we had this really big argument, and now it's this, like, we're in a fight, right? So like that, our anxiety, our overwhelm, it works like that. Disease in the body, like manifestations of sickness in the body, it starts with a low vibrational thought. And with that thought, over time, if you keep thinking it and thinking and thinking it, it starts building so much that your body incorporates the thought. And your body incorporates the thought, and it becomes this pain that your body's experiencing because it's what we're signaling out. Not necessarily using the brain as just using the brain, but it's an all cohesive unit. So from the root of who we are, from our infinite soul, through our hearts, through our throats, on to our beautiful brains, in our intuition, third eye, external eyelids, and signaling out. So I want you to hold space for what it means to have this anxiety meter, and to know when your meter is moving, and where and how to decrease when it's too high. So that's going to be part one, step one, I guess. Step two is going to be learning what self-soothing techniques work for you, because I could give you a whole bunch of techniques, and this is why I like to do my Akahic Clairity Pacs, because I simplify and I integrate techniques that are specific to you. So I would really ask you to check in within your cells, within your cellular body. What feels soothing to your cellular anatomy? What feels that it can relieve tension? In that moment, sometimes when you're so high strung with overwhelm, that tool that you feel usually helps might not help. So what feels good, like asking yourself that question, is going to be part three. What feels good right now. Sometimes giving up feels good. Sometimes when you're doing something and you just want to run away, feels good. Now, I'm not saying to run away on your dreams. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to not put in work for your vision, because you get anxious when you get to a certain stage of your vision. I'm not saying to run away from it. I'm just saying feel the meter of your anxiousness. Now, when you're coming towards something new and your anxiety meter and your overwhelm meter is really, really high, right? There's going to be blessings. There's going to be questions, like I said before, on how to address this. So what would feel really good right now? What do I ideally want? So these are two really great questions to ask yourself. This is part of knowing thyself. This is part of knowing thy cells, thy cellular anatomy, because our body can be soothed. Our body can turn down the volume on the anxiety, on the anger, on anything even as well. We have that ability. Our emotions are our gift. It's not a curse at all. And if you think that you don't know how to use the human gift, you don't know how to use, and that's okay. If you don't know, that's totally fine. That's why I'm here, to share this information. So asking yourself, what do I want? And I tell this to my clients, so it just depends on how comfortable you feel with your body. Hand to heart, hand to your belly, hand to a certain part of your body that hurts, that is achy, because chances are you're carrying a certain memory in that body part, and you can ask, like, what does that body part require right now? What do I need in order for me to reduce? Exactly, perfect timing. Everyone shows up in this container for the right time, and that is my life. Perfect timing. So I'm glad that you're present. You're going to have your hand on the knob on how to turn down the dial. So, for example, there was an example about money. So, money used to make me very anxious, and I'm still in the works of it. But the fact that I feel more confident is proof that I don't feel anxious. So, money used to make me really anxious, and when I used to be in a space of that, I would just back out. I would just run away. I would just ignore it. And then eventually the ignoring became hating money, hating capitalism, unable to execute my gift, execute my vision, because I didn't know how to integrate the anxiety. So the anxiety, in a way, is actually a beautiful gift. And once we integrate that belief that our fears are actually a way of showing us how we can better ourselves rather than hurting us, then we have changed perspective of, oh, I'm really anxious about this thing. All right, I honor that it's here. And that's step number 4. Honoring where you're at. Honoring, instead of worrying, like I'm on level 20 with my anxiety, and I don't know how to turn it down. I don't know how to soothe it. The first step of soothing is honoring where you're at. Right? So that's a step in a step. So step number 4 is knowing that it's okay that you're here and forgiving yourself, more so releasing tension in the body about the fact that you're anxious. Because sometimes we get anxious because we're anxious, or we feel guilty. We feel guilty about feeling guilty, or we feel we feel more lack because we feel lack. And then the cycle keeps going. I was just talking to a client last night. Oh my God, it was last night. And they said something, and they were using, like, okay, let me just bring it back. I need space, but I don't know how to ask for space, so I get overwhelmed to make space because I don't know how to ask for space. And the cycle kept happening, and then not making space because you don't know how to ask for space, not making space because you don't know how to ask for space, and it just keeps happening. So to break that cycle and create decrease the volume on the hurricane of your overwhelming feelings in your heart, is seeing that where you are is okay. Let's just start with that. That's the first self-soothing tactic. Once you're there, then it's like, then the next is, what would make me feel good in this moment? And now, if you're in a space where you have to complete a vision and you're feeling a lot of anxiety through that, and what do you require from yourself in order to feel good to do what you need to do in that moment, is a question you need to ask yourself. What do I need to feel good in order for this to feel good? What do I need to feel good in order for this process to feel good? All right, so I've been learning a lot about digital currencies, crypto, forex, and that shit overwhelmed me in the beginning. And I knew the steps, and I know the steps that I need to take in order for me to be a great trader and be efficient, because so much is happening. The market never stops, and the market never stops, and there's people that are better than you, and all of that was happening. And I was like, okay, I need to listen to the beat of my own drum, the heartbeat. So that's step number 5. So step number 5 is when you're feeling anxious. What's up, Queen? When you're feeling anxious, feeling the beat of your own drum. We have a pulse. We have energy running through our veins, through our eyelids, whenever we bat our eyelids. And so feeling the beat of your drum. So feeling the presence of who you are. Who the fuck are you? Because when we feel anxious and overwhelmed, we forget who we are. We don't realize who the fuck we are. So this step 5 is going to be listening to the beat of your own drum and knowing, coming back to who you are, coming back to the root. This is about knowing thyself again. So this is, I'm putting a course together. I'm so excited for it. It's not ready just yet, but it's a knowing thyself 101, and how to, people always say know thyself, and I feel like there's a process to that. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up shortly in 2020. I'm so excited to do that. However, going back to what we were saying, step number 5, listening to the beat of your drum, listening to your pulse. Listening to the pulse in your wrist, listening to your heartbeat. If putting your hand on your heart is too much, and maybe you're at like a corporate setting where that's a little too weird, or you're I don't know, in a really public place or in a club or something, and you're just like, the hell, this person. So you can actually directly feel the pulse of your breath. Okay, so those are 5 ways in which you can address and actually have a handle on your anxiety and overwhelm. So last thing I want you to know is, it's not uncontrollable. It is in alignment. This is showing up for you for a reason, for you to better yourself. This is showing up so you can be better, so you can live better, breathe better, and if you hate your anxiety, or if you hate your fear, it's going to aid in the pain. You're gonna self-hate yourself more, because you're like, fuck, now I have anxiety, now I hate myself for having anxiety, now I hate my anxiety. What is so when I took a course, I'm trying not to rant too much, so I have a BA in philosophy, all right? So we had to do a thesis statement on this like super like old European man who was talking about some real shit. So he was just talking about when we're at the bus station and we're waiting for a bus, we're just casually looking around. Essentially, he was saying we don't really give a fuck about what's at the on the boards. We're just looking to look. Okay? And when he said that, a light bulb hit in my head. And this is what I want to pass on to you, is that the message that we give ourselves from whatever we're looking at can ignite some sort of emotion, and we have that ability to choose what type of emotion. That's a little bit advanced level, I'd say like level 6, like, and as you're receiving some information, but I'm going to drop the gems to you, because that's how you plant seeds for bigger and better, right? feeling comfortable with that. So I want y'all to feel comfortable with that so you can work your way with the steps that I said earlier. So you're looking at all this shit on the billboards, and you don't really give a fuck about what's on the billboards, but you're just passing time, right? And sometimes some people can get anxious by the passing of the time because they're just doing things to pass the time in this lifetime. They're just doing shit to pass the lifetime, and that can cause anxiety. When you don't know your purpose, when you're just doing shit to do shit, it can disalign you from who you are. And that's when your signal your body's signaling you, saying, yo bro, yo queen, yo, listen, what you're doing or what you're receiving right now is not in alignment with who you really are, and you rather do this. So what would you really rather do in this moment? And how do you want to proceed with more love and more ease? And what's the ideal, what would the best version in this state? Because you have to honor that you're anxious, right? Because there's a difference between the best version of you sitting on $1 million, cool, calm, collected, versus an anxious you still sitting on $1 million. Because, my money doesn't have to be less than just because I'm anxious. And that was a belief that I had back in the day. So, coming back to what I'm saying right now is, what would best you, the you that you're looking at, the messy you that's anxious or overwhelmed, be doing? And what we're asking there is, one, we know we're a mess, or we know we feel a little discombobulated. Two, I'm going to take the necessary steps that I need to self-soothe myself so I can execute what I need to do in the best version that I know how. And I'm going to do it because I know that I want this moment and every other part of my life to be a certain energy, to be in a certain state, to be in a certain reality. And you can always bring yourself back into that reality that you see yourself in. So I'm going to end this live. I feel like there was a lot of downloads. So thank you so much for tuning in. The last thing, let me see if there's anything the guides want to share with y'all. I'm going to close my eyes, tap into my intuition. Okay, no, I think that's it. I feel like I exculpated. I feel like I answered and said what I need to say in a very concise way. I'm really proud of myself. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you for receiving this. It's not an accident that you're here listening to the message in live time. If you need to go back to this work, this video is going to be up on YouTube in a week. So stay tuned. It's available. If you like this work, so for everyone, not just people who are on the live, but if you feel like this work is resonating and you are really taking in the information and allowing yourself to heal in certain ways, definitely book my Akahic Clairity Pacs. I was so excited to hold space in a very one-on-one way, because then I'm connecting with that soul, and it's an honor for me to help people clear stagnancy. I feel like I do it so well to help people clear stagnancy, to help allow beings to come back to their natural multidimensional states. That's who I know I am and I feel. So in my Akahic Clairity Pacs, that's the work that we do. So they're $100 Canadian for now. Next year, the price will change to $189. You get two sessions, and they are remote. If you have any other questions, please email me. I'm more than happy to answer them. If you don't know what Akahic is, if you need any more information, I'm here. I'm here to listen to any questions, and I'm out. So peace and blessings. Stay tuned. There's a lot of magic happening in Conxcious Productions. We're growing. The team's growing. The sense of presence is growing because I've done the work. Now I'm here to teach. And always a student, always, but I am ready to bestow that to the rest of the world who is awakening right now. And that's part of the reasons why I'm here. So much love. This video is going to be on YouTube. If you haven't watched my YouTube video, videos. It's Conxcious Productions, with 2 X's, one X in each of the words. Peace. I'm sending you all blessings. I hope you're receiving this with utmost grace, utmost light. I see you. I feel you. And I hope you get to feel the power of your breath all the way from the base of your spine into your portal of your heart, into your throat, and into your eyes. And out your eyes. Bye.